Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kez, aka Chameleon Makeup, and today we're going to be sorting out some more of my eyeshadow collection. I'm going to be showing you what I'm keeping and what I'm getting rid of and my reasoning for that. The first thing I wanted to show you is my collection of Bad Habit palettes that I've got. I did show some the other day, but these are the rest of them. These are now known as Alter Ego, so it has been taken over by a different name. I don't know whether the company itself is still the same, but basically they dupe very famous palettes and the quality is usually pretty good, which is why I've got them. So the first lot of dupes that I've got are their collection of their palettes called the Cult palettes. So this is Cult Mythos and this is a dupe for Pat McGrath. It's beautiful colours, and let me tell you, the shimmers are stunning and the mattes are perfect. And so I will be keeping all of these, but I will show you them. So that was Cult Mythos. This is Cult Mystics. You will see that some of them have needed to be repressed because they were incredibly soft eyeshadows. And so when they came, some of them did get damaged. However, I have repressed them and it doesn't affect their use. This one survived completely. Didn't get any bashing. And that's the other one. So I will be keeping them because I don't have the Pat McGrath motherships because they're too expensive for me to get. Maybe one day, but for now I have these. The shading is incredibly similar. This is one that we were looking at the last time, and this was Backlash, and I've decided that I am going to either gift that or get rid of it, just because I do like the shades and it is a nice colour combo, but I do have practically every single one of these shades in a different palette, with maybe the exception of that one, but I'm sure I'll probably have somewhere. I have some more of the palettes that I got from All My Glitter. Again, I won't be getting rid of any of them because I absolutely love the brand, even though it's been discontinued, but I will show you them. So this one was called the Queen Slayer and it was based around Buffy. Then we had the Nebula palette, which was beautiful. The shades in this are absolutely gorgeous. And again, with all of these, the pigments are spot on. This was one of my favourites. This was called the Ouija palette. Comes with its own plancher. Each one was handcrafted and different, which it's just amazing, and all the eyes were different on there. You can see this one is very well loved. I've used that one quite a lot, and this is the black I mentioned that was put into the other Halloween palette, which I begged for them to put in there, which is Black Cat. It's my favourite black ever. It's so pigmented, and it's one of the first companies where I managed to get shades that were duochrome, and so I'm really happy with that one. This one I managed to get after the company closed down. This is their steampunk palette. I think it's called Robot actually. But again, absolutely beautiful shades. I did have some singles of those, but I did sell them on a while ago because I didn't need them when I got the palette. This was their Stupid Cupid one, which is really nice sort of Valentine's theme palette. I was toying with the idea of whether to get rid of this one because it's called Send Nudes and it's essentially just a palette full of neutral colours with names like Pussy Whipped and a Nip Slip, which is really cool. But when I looked into it, they're all shimmer shades and I really like it, so I won't be getting rid of it. I've got their Get Sprung palette, which is all spring shades. You can see that a lot of them have got quite a lot of monochrome going there, but with the odd other colour in. Then I have Overture, which is all bright. I think I'm only missing one of the palettes now, which was, I think it was Harvest or something like that. And then I've got the Elysium palette, which is named, that was the first one that was released that sort of drew me to the brand. This little palette, this came in a box from VE Cosmetics and it was like a mystery box, but it's really pigmented and so I'll be keeping that. I've got some more of the Bad Habit stroke Alter Ego palettes in here. This is one of them. These palettes from Bad Habit are dupes of the famous Huda Beauty smaller palettes that they did. They have different names, but the colour schemes are very similar, if not the same. And I do have some of the official Huda Beauty ones, but these ones are nice for travelling and it means I won't damage my expensive ones. So I've got that one, which is called After Dark. After Charge, sorry, not After Dark. And then this is After Hours, which you'll probably recognise which one it looks like. This one I had to repress, that's why these two are a bit dodgy, because they smashed in transit. Again, it's very soft formula, so it's to be expected, and it's not really a fault as such, but they do need to be repressed. Then I've got Afterglow, and this is why I got rid of the Colourpop one, because that was a very sunset theme, and so is this one. Then I do have After Dark. I've noticed though that these two are quite similar, so I'm toying with the idea of getting rid of one of them. They are different, but they're also very close, so I don't know whether to get rid of the After Dark one or whether to keep it. It's kind of in the maybe pile for now. Then I've got the Alter Ego one that they did, that came out afterwards, and this is Aurora, and this is a dupe of the Sunset palette from Natasha Denona, which again, brilliant quality. I did have the original Sunset one, but they were so alike that I got rid of the original and kept that one. And this one that was released as well. And then they did one called Anastasia, which is again another copy of Natasha Denona. I think it was the Circus palette. And then they did the Aphrodite one, which is a copy of Huda Beauty. Again, I've actually kept this one and got rid of the Huda Beauty one because I like that one better. Funnily enough, the shadows are nicer quality on that one. I have Inferno. This is back when they were still Bad Habit, I think. And this was a copy of Urban Decay Heat, which I also do own, but I'm quite into my Urban Decay collection, so I won't be getting rid of that anytime soon. And again, I travel with my cheaper ones. Luna is a copy of the Anastasia Beverly Hills one that they did, and I bought this one over the Anastasia one. This is a copy of Anastasia Renaissance that they did, a dupe of that, and I don't think the shades are quite as good in this as the original one, and I do have the original palette, but again, I've kept this as a backup. And then I've got Retro Love, which is a copy of the other palette that they did, except the quality in this one is actually better than the Anastasia one. There was a lot of problems with the pigment in the Anastasia one, whereas it's not on this. And then I've got their two artistry ones, and this was a copy of the Mario Anastasia, and this was a copy of the other Mario Anastasia. And if you can't get the originals, they were definitely worth getting at the time. Obviously they're probably not available anymore. And then I've got this palette my friend bought me, which is from BH Cosmetics, which is closed down now. It's called Sub-Zero, and it's all blues. Absolutely love a monochrome colour story, so I'll be keeping that one. I have got Kat Von D, and this is Divine. I have got rid of some of my Kat Von D's, but I will be keeping this because I really love the colour story in this one. I think I had the copy for this in Bad Habit as well, but I don't know if I've still got it or not. I've got some Beef Perfect palettes here as well. I think I only got 2 of the 4, possibly 3, because these are the Quarters palettes, and this one was East, and it's pretty much a green themed earthy colour story. And then I got the West Waters, which is the blue themed one. Again, won't be getting rid of these. And then I got the Star Ranch one by Jeffree Star, and I really do love the colour story in that one, and so I'll be keeping that one. I also had these 2 little ones from Makeup Obsession, which I was going to keep. There's a blue themed one and a minty one, but I've got so many similar shades, and as cute as they are, I don't really need them, so I'm going to gift those to somebody else. Okay, next drawer. First one I've got in here is the Violet Voss Pro palette, and this is the Ride or Die. It's a massive palette, and it's got loads of lovely colours in it. I'm a bit in 2 minds whether to keep it because it's so big, and do I have these shades over any of the other palettes? Possibly. So I'm going to keep it to one side and compare it to my other ones, and then I might be getting rid of that one because it's really bulky and it's hard to store. This is one of my pride and joys. This is a Pat McGrath palette, and this one is Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. I did manage to get this quite cheap. I got it in a sale, and this is official proper Pat McGrath, so I won't be parting with that one. And then I managed to get hold of the second one as well, which was Mothership Mega Celestial Nirvana. This is a pink themed one instead. The colours are a little bit brighter in this one, which I do prefer, but I will keep them both. And I think I've got the third one as well. There's one I'm missing, which I'm looking for still, cheap. This palette came from something called Crate Finds, which I'd never heard of. It was just an American thing, and the palette is called This Bitch, which is a bit of a weird name for a palette. It has got somebody's signature on there, but I can't tell whose it is. It's It's got quite an interesting funky rock cover on there, and I really do like this palette. The shades are amazing, and there's one that's very similar to that other blue that I'm getting rid of, so obviously I'll be keeping this one. But those shimmers are beautiful, all of them. Really nice quality for a palette that I didn't know about until not long ago. This is my Mitchell palette. It's the only Mitchell palette I've got, and what drew me to this was the insane shades in it, and it's also really big. And yes, I've got a million coloured palettes, but I am going to keep that. Whether it goes out in a different batch, I don't know, but we'll see. Another Violet Voss Pro. This one is Like a Boss, and that's the shades in that one. So I've got the Nicole Concealer one, and the thing that didn't have in the other palette, in the Like a Boss one, that made me want to keep the bigger palette was that there was a white in there, but there's also a white in this one as well. And so looking at that again, the shades are very, very similar. And then I have got the Violet Voss HG palette. Can't remember what the HD stands for now, but I do know it's a very famous palette at the time, and that's pretty much neutrals, but so's this big one, and so I don't think I'm going to need to keep the big one. And then I've got the Laura Lee one, which has also got very similar shades to what's in the big one, so I think that's pretty much made up my mind that the big one can go. I've got an OPV Beauty palette here. This is Ocean. This was one of the first ones that they did. Beautiful shimmer golds in there, very sort of, I'd say rich palette. The colours are very rich in that. The pigment in these palettes is very, very good. That wasn't probably a good example. That's better. You can see it now. And so I will be keeping that one. I've got a larger kimchi one. Most of my kimchi ones are small. I've got two of the smaller ones, and there's a lot of brights there. It's quite similar to the Mitchell one, but this green, this gecko shade, I haven't seen across many of my other palettes. So I'm going to keep it for now. But if I find another green like that in my palettes, then this one might need to go. I've got Lime Crime, again discontinued now. This is the Venus XL that they did, and this was more of a pinky theme. Not usually into pink, but I really liked the colour story in this one, and so I've kept it, and I will keep it for now. I've got another OPV Beauty here. This was one of the later palettes, and this one was called Tropical Dreams. Again, right up my street. Beautiful tones in there, and so I'll be keeping that for the time being. I'm massively into Be Perfect, and I've got the Be Perfect Rain palette here. Now, this is all bright. It has got a few of pressed glitters in there. They are quite pretty, but the colour scheme's quite nice. However, I don't think I'll use it because I've got many, many more colours like it, and this is completely untouched. It's never been used, and so I think that's going to go. I've got Dream Big Manifest palette here, and this one I really liked. It's got quite a few sort of shades that got mixes in them, and look at that stunning green there. Looks quite dark on the picture, but it's actually a lighter shade of green. I thought it might replace the one in the Kimchi palette, but not quite, so we'll keep that for the time being. These were cheap palettes I got called LOV. I think I picked these up from TK Maxx. It's probably an indie brand, but they come from Frankfurt apparently. But that's the first one, and again it's very neutral. I don't have that many neutral palettes, but I like that one. I did have some similar ones in Cara Cosmetics, but I got rid of those recently, and that's the other one. And so they are sort of mainly heavy shimmer palettes, which I quite like because I love me a good shimmer. I've got this She Glam palette here, which is quite pretty, and that shade is very similar to the one in the big Source Box palette I got rid of, and so I will keep that one. This is another one that I really like. This is a tiny little palette package, so it doesn't take up much space, a little palette. This is one by Viseart, I think it's pronounced, I'm not sure, Viseart, and it's the Soleil La Plage, which is Sun the Sea, I think it translates to. But they're beautiful colours, and their palettes are always really highly pigmented as well, and again good for travelling with. This was another one that I got from that strange crate thing, and this was Chase the Sunset, and it's only 3 shades, but they're really pigmented and they're beautiful shades. And weirdly enough, I just want to keep that one just because I like it. Okay, so we've got the Revolution palettes. These ones were a set called, I think they were the Elements set, and this one was Fire. It's a very nice little palette. Have I got similar? Yes, but for the time being I'll keep it. And then I got the Water one, which is strangely lacking in blues. It does have one, but it's mainly just kind of like a, I don't know, like an earthy theme, but I quite like it. Then I got the Air one, which is more of an earthy tone palette. I have this still sealed. It's beautiful. It's by Wet n Wild, and it's a little palette there. I am going to get rid of that one though, just because again I've got the colours along many other palettes. I've got this little one by Violet Voss as well, and this is the Le Macron one, and I really like the shades in that, and they're all shimmers, so I'm going to keep that one. I did also get it in their Fruit Sorbet palette, and although it's got kind of brights, I'm not really that bothered about that one, so that one's going to go. I have this little Makeup Forever one. It's a tiny little palette, and it's got some really nice shimmers in there, and I think I've got similar shades, so I think it's time to let that one go. I've got the Little Melt Cosmetics one. This is the Bad Side Zodiac, and this is Water, and I didn't buy any of the others, but I really like the colours in this one, and I will keep that one. As well as the dupes that I've shown you before of the Huda ones, Beauty Glazed also did a set of dupes, and I did get the dupes, and they are very good. This is the Mint one, which has got some nice little green shades in. And then we have the Mars one, which is the reds. This is the proper Huda one, which is also reds. One of my shades is completely trashed because it died, but they're very similar, and you can tell. In fact, they're pretty much identical, I'd say. There's probably slight shade differences, but not by much. Formula wise, they're very different though, but I will keep that for now. Then we have Neptune, which is blue, and again I have the original of this one. They are very, very similar, like very similar. You can see that the shades are almost identical, but I don't really want to part with either one. I think you still can get these Beauty Glazed ones out and around. That's the purple one. I don't think I ever got that in the Huda one. And then I've got the Lemon one, which again didn't get in the Huda. That one that I didn't get in the Huda. Although this one I am going to let go because it's very similar to the one that I've got in the other brand, the Bad Habit brand. This is proper Huda Beauty. You can see I've used that one quite a bit. That was a birthday present from a relative. And I've got the green proper Huda Beauty. I've got one of the neon Huda Beauty. I didn't get them all, and then I've got some and got rid of them, but I did keep this one. That's that one. The yellow was damaged, but I repaired it. And then I have this one. Really nice palette, but I'm not really that fussed about it, so that one can be gifted. And then I've got the Norvina mini cherry one. I do like the colours in that one, so I will keep that one. These are custom palettes, and these are MAC that I got. They're very bashed and battered because they've been used quite a lot, but these are the original MAC formula, which you can't really get now. I don't think the formula's the same, and so I wouldn't part with them. I've got those, and I've got a Neutrals one, both from MAC. They're sort of ones that I've made myself. Then I've got some loose ones in my Z palette here. I can't remember what brand these are. I think they might be Anastasia. Yeah, these are Anastasia Beverly Hills ones for the most part. A couple of them are Colourpop. And then this is Charmed, which was from Luxie Beauty, which is now also closed. It's an independent brand, but it's one of my favourite shimmers. I also have this one, which was pretty much self-made. But you can see it's very old, and they've all been pressed, and not very well pressed at that. So most of these I will get rid of the shades of, but I'll keep the palette because some of them are a little bit manky now. I've got the Morphe Dare to Create palette, which is quite a huge palette. It's not had a lot of use, but it has had some. and I was mainly keeping it for the red shade at the top, but now I've got many red shades that are very similar, and so I don't feel the need to keep this one, so that one can find a new home. This is the OPV Rainbow Splash palette, and I was so excited when this came out. It's one of those I've got to have it palettes, and it did not disappoint, and so I will keep that one, even though I know I've got many rainbow palettes. This is the Bad Habit Athena palette, and this is the one that I think was a copy of the Huda Desert Dusk. I will keep that. I got this one from Suva Beauty, which I think is now closed, and it's got quite a few coloured shades on there, but it's got these amazing toppers, and these are designed to go over any of the shades, and they are really pigmented. They've got them in a blue, yellow, pink and green, and I really like the combination there, and also I can put those over other eye looks, so I keep that one. I have got the ABH palette here. This is quite old now because I've used it quite a lot. This is Self-Made, which was one of the first ABH palettes that came out, but it still works really well. It's not gone off, and so I will keep using it. I do sanitize them regularly with rubbing alcohol, so I do keep safe with them and don't just whack them on my eyes if they look horrible. If I get any sort of irritation, they go in the bin. This was another dupe. This was Ocolan, and they did dupes of the original Lime Crime palettes. I think they were the original Venuses, the small ones. And I got rid of the originals in favour of these because the pigment's much better on these. I've got the Morphe Jacqueline Hill box set here. Someone got rid of this because they didn't like the pigment, and so they sold it on to me. They're really nice, pretty palettes, and they've got a range of shades in, and they're nice, easy to pack travel palettes as well, and so I keep them. I got this really cheap palette offline called TZ Cosmetics, and it's Halloween themed, and I absolutely love it, and I was really surprised with the quality. It's really good. Then I come to my Juvia's Place collection. I have quite a lot of Juvia's Place palettes. This was the first one, and again, this is one of those palettes that everyone went mental for and wanted to buy and own, and this is the Nubian 2. The colours are beautiful on it, and the pigment is top notch. And so this was the Festival. Again, beautiful shades. And then I have the Masquerade Mini. They did this in a large one and a miniature one, and I got rid of the large one and kept the miniature one because the large one was just too big. It's like this one here. This was the Magic, and it's a beautiful palette, and we have a winner. There's that green that's similar to the one that's in the Kimchi palette. I prefer the colour story in my Juvia's, and so I will get rid of the Kimchi one. It's a beautiful palette, but I can live without it. I got this palette here. It was a Kickstarter from a makeup group called UKMA, which was a UK makeup group, and they put a lot of effort into picking the colour scheme out, and a lot of the people that were involved with it were all members of the group, and they helped pick the colours and everything like that. And it is a lovely palette, but again, I've got the shades over everything else, and I mainly bought it to support the group. I've got the Sample Beauty Blooming Lovely palette, and that is all neon shades. Again, probably don't need 5 billion neon palettes, but I really like this one, and so I'm keeping it. This was another indie brand that got discontinued called Blush Tribe, and this one was the Pastel Tribe, and it was all pastels, has its name. I don't have many pastel palettes that are pigmented, but this one is, and so I am going to keep that just because of the shades. Then I have the Zulu by Juvia's, fortunately a little bit smaller than the other one, so I've only really got the one big one of that now. And then the Saharan, some of the shades fell apart, but this is one of the nicest green blues I've ever seen. And so I don't think I'd be parting with any of my Juvia's palettes, to be honest. The only Charlotte Tilbury palette I own is this one here, and this is Starry Eyes to Hypnotise, and I just really liked the colour story in that one, and it's a nice little compact palette. This is another Beauty Bay one I got, and this was the Beauty Bay Nikki palette, I have the outer sleeve for this one, and it was actually signed by Nikki, so I won't part with that. And then I got the Io Coralie one, which is gigantic. I do have the small Io Coralie one, and although the pigment is really nice and it's got lots of really pretty shades in it, I do have a lot of these shades elsewhere, and it's a big palette, so I'm going to let that one go. I've got another OPV Beauty one. This was another palette that everyone went absolutely mental for, and this was called the Yamoja palette. It's lovely, so I'll be keeping that. Then I have the Lime Crime Venus 2 palette, which I really love the shades on. It's a very grungy palette, and so I'll keep it. But then I got the other one, which was Venus Immortalis. And except for my Jeffree Star palette, I don't really have a lot of palettes with just that sort of monochrome vibe to it, and it's smaller, so I'm going to keep that. Then I have Lime Crime, I think this was Unicorn. I can't remember if it's called Unicorn or Happy Birthday, but I think it's Unicorn, and that was all bright, and so I'll keep that one. It's not available anymore, it's been discontinued. I have another Milani one here. This is Milani Gilded, I think, Gilded Noir, so that was Gilded Night. Beautiful shades in this one, very sort of dark romantic theme. Toyed with getting rid of that, but I'm going to keep it for now. I've got the main two palettes from Unicorn Cosmetics, which is this one here, which is kind of like a grungy theme as well. And then they did a brighter one called Angel. That one was called Wicked, and I kept both of them. This is the palette that started it all. This is what caused my craziness into makeup. The case is so old and nasty, you can't see the colour anymore, and I don't use it now, but I do keep it for the nostalgia. This was the first Urban Decay palette I got, and this I think was the first Book of Shadows one. It is way past needing a clean now, and you can see it's very well loved. Those three shades are panned to death, so that is more of a sentimental thing now, but it's my first palette, so I have to keep it. This is the Urban Decay shadow box, and it's got one of those dark greens that I like, that I was looking at with the kimchi. I doubt there'll be many of these I get rid of, because as I say, I collect them. I've got Urban Decay Elements palette. This one wasn't very widely advertised, and I think it was mainly available in the US, but it's an absolutely gorgeous palette. It's one of the last ones that they did that was really bright and colourful before they started getting a bit tame. I have this one, which was a limited edition one. This was by, the artwork was by someone called Jean-Michel Basquiat, and the colours in that are beautiful, and I still have the brush. And there was another one as well, but this is more neutral tones, but again it's Urban Decay, so I'll be keeping it. This was one of my personal favourites. It's got paint on it for some reason. This was one of the shadow boxes, and this was Spectrum, and I really liked all of the colours in there. My favourite shade ever, which is Deep End, is in this palette, and then a lot of the ones from the other palettes are in it as well, but they're all in one handy place, and I did use that quite a lot, not so much now. Then they did Full Spectrum, which was slightly larger and was pretty much a full rainbow. Didn't find this one to be quite as pigmented as the other ones, unfortunately, but it's still a nice palette. This is their Kristen Leanne one. You can see that I've got all the brushes with them still, and that was a really nice colour story. I liked this one. It got some shades in there that I've not seen in some of the others. Then there was this one, which was, I forget what the name of the palette was, but it was a little one in a box, and the box could double up apparently for a jewellery box, but I've never used it for a jewellery box. It's again got my favourite shade Deep End in there. And then I've got one of my favourite Urban Decay palettes. This one was, I think it was something metals, and it came out like a flat pan, which made it really easy to use, which was the idea. And it had a shade of really pretty coloured metallics and a shade of neutral metallics. You could probably just have this one and never need another Urban Decay palette, but I like them, so I'm keeping them. We have Sample Beauty, the Equalizer palette. Love this palette. You've got one set of shimmers and one set of non-shimmers, and the idea is that they can be used together, so all of the names correspond. Like we've got rubber and duck, tequila and lime, and they're all paired up, and it's just such an innovative way of doing a palette. Then we have Paradigm Shift, which is a beautiful rainbow palette, but I'm going to let that go because I have enough rainbow palettes. Then I've got another Morphe one, but this was mainly sort of greens and purples and things. Beautiful palette, but again, got them over many other palettes. That's going. I've got the Sample Beauty paint palette here. Yes, it might have some rainbows in a lot of my other palettes, but I really like that one, so I'm going to keep it. I got this one from BH Cosmetics called the Lit List, and this was a Christmas one. It's got some of the prettiest greens in I've seen. Amazing shimmers. There is a glitter in there which I'll probably never use, but other than that, palette's beautiful. I have this lovely little one from Gosh here. Beautiful little shades, but I'm going to gift that to someone else. Got another BH one here. This is a Summer in Saint-Tropez, and that's a very sort of beachy and sunny, and I like that one, so I'll keep it. My friend bought me this one. This was the MUA palette in Nocturnal, and I love a good goth theme, and the shimmers are really pretty, so I'll keep that. I've got P. Louise Stack 'em Up. I got rid of most of the P. Louise Stack 'em Ups except for this one. I kept the blue one because I really like that one. I have got the NYX Wind palette here, which is really pretty, but I got rid of the rest in the set, so that one can go. Then I have the Amethyst palette here. This was by Revolution, I think, and I do really like the shimmers in that, so I'll keep that one. This is BH Cosmetics Aura Light, and these are baked shadows, but they're really pretty, and that was another one that at the time everybody was going mad for, along with their Take Me to Brazil palette. So the first one was Take Me Back to Brazil, which is lots of beautiful colours. I do like this because it's got a massive black and white shade in there, which I think is always handy when you've got a palette. And then I had Take Me Back to Brazil Rio edition, which is similar, but pretty much all shimmers. In fact, it is all shimmers. And so, right up my street. Do I need both? Maybe not, but I can use them together. And then they did Take Me to Ibiza, which was similar, but along a different colour scheme. So I'll be keeping that one. I've got a lot of their Galaxy ones because my friend bought me a lot of them, and I will be keeping all of them. So that's Galaxy Chic. Then they did Stellar Collision, which is that one. I know I do need to use some of these. I haven't used them. And then a Supernova, which is that one. That's more of a darker theme. This one surprised me. This was Desert Oasis by BH Cosmetics, and when I first saw it I wasn't that interested, but somebody bought it me and I'm so glad they did. It's got 2 mattes in that can be used as bronzers if you wanted, and then it's got a few highlighters and also some shades, and it's practically a full shimmer palette. Then I got Too Faced Best Year Ever. Beautiful palette, but again I've got all of those shades over many other palettes. I have got here, the outer packaging is Killer Queen's Cosmetics Artistry palette, and they were all liquid liners which I've took out of the palette, and I've replaced the ones in there with my BH Cosmetics ones. These, I forget what they were called now. I think basically it's a whole set of duochromes that were copies of one of the other makeup brands. I can't remember which brand it is off the top of my head, but they're actually really good, and some of the first sort of shimmery chromy shades that were around. I've got BH Cosmetics A Weekend Carnival, and that's been well used by me. You can see all the dents in there. I will be keeping that one. Now this is a custom palette. It's got glitter eyes on the outside, but it's not glitter eyes inside. It's got one black shade which is Corrupt from Makeup Geek, which ironically is who the others were copies of. They were copies of Makeup Geek shadows, and the rest are my Lethal Cosmetics singles, which I really need to put together with my other Lethal Cosmetics. I've got Colourpop Lucky Charm. You know I absolutely love a theme palette, and this one is themed on the green side. It's very similar to their Tinkerbell one, to be honest. So I might have to compare it to that and see how similar they are, and if they're both similar I might get rid of one of them. The other thing about these palettes is in the plastic packaging, they're really fragile and they break really easily. Then I've got an I Love Makeup, which was originally the name of the I Heart Revolution makeup. And again, it's a beautiful little palette, but I've got those shades, many other palettes, so that can go. I've got another Viseart one here. This is the dark edit, and I have kept that because it's beautiful. And again, nice and compact. These are quite big and chunky, but I really like them. It was a brand from, I don't know whether it's Italy or Spain, but I think it's Italy, called Neve Cosmetics. And this one was their Ceramisi palette, which is sort of a neon chromey palette. They're all shimmers, but they're all neons. Like a, well, pastel maybe more so than neons. But this is my favourite palette I got from them, and this was called Neve Cosmetics Duochrome. And all of these shades are duochromes, and they're so pretty to wear. I have used that one quite a few times. It doesn't look like it because the pans are so big. And the last one is a BH Cosmetics Lunar New Year. It's one of the last palettes that they released, and the shades are beautiful, and I will be keeping that. So there isn't really a great deal out of this one that I am getting rid of, but we are getting there. There's a whole box full of palettes now that I'm getting rid of, which is going to create space, and so I'm quite happy with that. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please join me for the next chapter where I'll be decluttering some more of my palettes, hopefully getting near the end, although I've got about another 4 drawers to go. Please don't judge me. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.